Another one that hit me hard was unfortunately when Tom Mullica passed away. And the worst part is that you see Tom Mullica ingesting cigarettes, as we're going to look at today. And you would imagine that he would die of something of lung cancer. No, he died of botched hernia surgery. My goodness, what a way to go out. I've been a huge fan of his work all my life. As a matter of fact, I have pretty much everything that he's ever come up with. And here today, we're going to be taking a look at his signature piece, which is the cigarette eating. When I was younger and I first saw this on World's Greatest Magic, I thought this man was eating cigarettes. Little did I know, obviously, he was doing magic methods, but it still hurts. You're putting a flaming stick in your mouth, which honestly reminds me of those nights with my uncle.
Sarah, just take out any card that you'd like. This may not work. Now, let's say your card were the ace of clubs. If it were, and then if I put it into the deck, and then I shuffled the deck up, and I told you to look over under the ashtray, and the card was underneath the ashtray, you'd look at me and say, well, that was a pretty good trick. My card can't go from here to there. Wouldn't you assume that that was a duplicate card? Well, that's where this magic marker comes in. See it coming in?
I can see it.
No.
One thing magicians don't take advantage of is to entertain while you are having dead time. Now, dead time is when you have the participants select a card, they show it around, or maybe you take a marker out and you have them sign a card. And all this is dead time. Usually magicians do it in silence. Tom Mullica squeezes every little bit of entertainment out of everything that he does. And it's a great lesson to be learned, because when you have this dead time that you're inevitably going to have in any sort of act or set that you do, try to introduce little moments that the participant can enjoy. David Penn talks about this a lot. While he's having a card selected, he might have another card peeked at and he reveals that card to the participant, all while they're doing something mundane like signing a card. And here he takes out a marker, and even taking out the marker, he manages to squeeze some entertainment value out of.
Now listen to these instructions very carefully. On the face of your card, not the back, but the face. Not your face, the face of your card. Just make a little X or write your name or draw a little picture so that later on, when you see that card someplace else, you'll know it's exactly the same card. You'll know that I'm not using duplicates at all, and I don't want to look, so let me go under the table. Okay, just go ahead and mark. Do you always wear those?
What a sexist joke. Oh my God, Tom Mullica is a misogynist. There is a time and place for jokes like this. Tom Mullica is a bar magician, and typically he is in that environment where people are drinking and having fun, and you can make raunchy jokes like what he just did under the table. It doesn't require a Facebook post where you talk about your rights being infringed. My goodness, we need to get our heads out of the sand.
Now, you will know that card when you see it again. You got a hunk of hair hanging right in front. There. Did you see it? That was great!
And also, why not take advantage to be a little flirty to a snack like this? My goodness, I think I'm in love.
Now, put your, you may want to show it to the camera one last time. I think the one right there, okay? And then put your card right in there. How many damn can? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now, I've shuffled the deck there in front of you, and as of right now, from this point on, I will not touch the deck at all, I promise.
Now there he used one of my favorite controls. It's the simplest. It's known as a Mahatma control. It's just a simple overhand shuffle. When a participant places a card, you see that he takes the upper half and shuffles it to the bottom, controlling their card to the top. And of course, he keeps it there, doing a series of milk shuffles. And it's the simplest yet most direct way to control a card to the top of the deck, while seemingly giving it a good, fair mix.
Say a number out loud between 1 and 52.
38.
38. Now, in a minute, I'm going to ask you to pick the deck up and count down 37 cards and then turn the 38th card face up. And when you see that it's your card, you're absolutely going to freak out. So will that guy up there, but it'll be hard to tell. And then you're going to look at me. One woman looked at me one night and she said,
"Oh, Mr. Magician. Oh, Jesus, I wish I said 11. There's no damn way that trick would have worked if I had said 11. Oh, Jesus, I wish I said 11.
I say this while having a 3 milli chill zinni in my upper bunk, but look how cool Tom Mullica looks smoking a cigarette. This is a situation that no longer exists. This world is gone. And honestly, we've been worse ever since. Have you noticed that? Ever since they stopped having a smoking section at Denny's, that everything has just tumbled. Now, Tom Mullica uses this sort of pseudo any card at any number to set up for the cigarette eating, which is going to be the portion of the trick that I really wanted to show you guys here, because I personally love all the subtleties, all the facials that he does, and it's worthy of a piggy analysis.
So if you want to change your mind, would you like a cigarette also? You don't smoke.
For years, I remember going through the magic forums and reading about magicians trying to find out how Tom Mullica does this trick. And they're like, is there a secret? Is he using special cigarettes? No, the man is putting cigarettes that are lit inside of his mouth. There's no secret. You put them in your mouth, you're getting burned, and you have to not sell it as if you're not cooking the top of your palate while doing this demonstration. Also, I don't know if you ever tried to throw a cigarette or something like that in your mouth and actually have it go in. It's fucking hard. It's easy to throw it up in the air and catch it like that, but to throw it in your mouth and do it consistently, and typically he drops cigarettes and he makes a joke out of it, but when he nails it, it just looks so perfect. I remember one thing that I tried to learn was to put out a lit match with your tongue, or to be able to throw a lit match into your mouth and have it be a nice little sight gag, and you're there slapping your face, no, I'm gonna do it, and then you check it out, and then eventually you learn how to do it. It's kind of the same thing with this, however you're doing it with an entire pack of cigarettes.
Now, you can change your mind if you want to. You don't want to change your mind.
That little flourish he does with those 4 cigarettes is one of my favorite visuals of Tom Mullica, and I think it's the whole reason why he does this entire thing to begin with. It's a great long-lasting image. You're always trying to create these little images and moments that the participants could go back and remember, and that's one that always gets a reaction, and it's always fun to see every time he's done this particular act. Also, the timing is something you could learn from this, the timing of his jokes, and he always calls back to that card trick, because at the end of the day, remember, he started this off with a card trick. And if you want to learn some card tricks, I suggest the PigCake Magic Academy, the home of over 1,500 videos going over card stuff, coin stuff, everything you need to become the best magician you could possibly be, all for the low price of $5 a month. And I'm always uploading new content, so it's not just those videos, you're always getting new stuff, so might as well join and check out what the PigCake Academy members are raving about.
Is it getting hotter in here to you? Do you mind if I smoke?
Also, the best line of this entire thing, do you mind if I smoke after ingesting what is seemingly an entire pack of cigarettes? Well, not ingesting it, but putting it in your mouth and smoking each and every single cigarette in the entire pack. What a great line, and the timing is always immaculate whenever you see a performance by Tom Mullica. Now, this structure is great, where you start off with what is a card trick or maybe a trick of another nature, and you get into something else. Now, I'm not saying to go and smoke a whole pack of cigarettes, but for example, how great would it be to maybe do the human blockhead routine while the participant has a card selected and they signed it, they put it back in the deck, and you take out a hammer, you take out a nail, you start hammering the nail into your face, and you have all the gags with that, all the slow. You could look at the audience and look at them like they're the idiots. You could ask them if they want to change their mind on the card. Meanwhile, you pull the nail out and then you get into the trick. The structure is great, so I'm sure you could come up with different alternatives. Maybe another one is to swallow a balloon sword. That's another great one that you could do while the participant is in this particular situation. And it's just a fun sight gag, and it's really memorable, definitely more memorable than any card trick you're going to perform.
Not how, why. So 11's your final decision? You know why I eat those napkins? You don't have to buy toilet paper.
Now there he says not how, but why, and I disagree. How? How did he get into doing this act? How did he figure out that he could do this with the whole napkin bit too? That sets up the latter portion of the actual cigarette eating act. It all ties together at the end perfectly, but how did he figure out that you could combine both of these things and then end up essentially vanishing the entire bit of cigarette, or apparently ingesting it according to what the audience perceives at the end, including me when I first saw this? It reminds me of the first caveman that discovered jerking off. He's like, oh, I guess I could just do it on my own. I don't need a cave woman. I don't need to navigate through the spider's nest.
Now, is 38 your final decision? Thank you.
Now, again, the purpose of these videos is not to talk about method. The last thing I like to talk about is method, even though that's what everyone wants to know about because you guys are a bunch of whores. But the cover that he does for the ditch is perfect because at the end, he's offering a participant a napkin, and that's the perfect misdirection in order to sneak the wad of cigarettes and napkins out of his mouth. And again, he still has a sort of retention of illusion with his mouth because this man is essentially Jim Carrey. He's able to contort his face to the point where he kind of looks like a camel. But it's a perfect moment of covering, in this case, a big move with a laugh. And the laugh is massive because he asks her if she wants one or if she wants to try one. So all the attention is going to be on her. And even if you look at him, you still can't see anything. And it's just a wonderful act put together. Of course, ending with the callback of the card trick.
Did you already signed and then you said 11 and then you don't want to change your mind? The trick will work better if you say 11. But you don't want to say 11. Now, this is your last chance. When you see your card, the show's over, the trick's over, and when you're driving home tonight, I don't want you to be going,
Oh, jeez, I wish I said 11.
if you want to say 11, do it now, oops, or forever hold your peace. 11, 38,
38.
38. Count down, and there it is. This is going to kill you. Don't you wish you'd picked 11?
It's not mine.
Thank you very much, everyone. I appreciate it.
Again, there's no dead time when it comes to any one of his performances, even when they're dealing out the number, which could be another point where it's just boring because you're watching him deal the card or deal the cards out on a table in a monotonous way. He's still doing stuff with the cigarette, and eventually the cigarette turns into the card. So the lesson to be learned here is the structure of how Tom Mullica really does this act. It's not doing the act, it's not copying the act, it's learning from the structure. And the structure is one that is brilliant because you're able to essentially take a trivial, mundane trick and turn it into something memorable that the audience is going to be talking about for years to come. Speaking of come, I've been gooning this entire video, so now I gotta end it.
I see you again, when 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 I see